everyone. Thank you for joining me in this meditation. My name is Eva. This meditation is going to focus very broadly on the themes of loss, of it's all being felt in the heart, but remembering this really is the link and the portal into our multidimensional self. So in the lower dimensional centers, there can be grief felt in the higher dimensional centers as well. Those dimensions are open to distortion or disturbance. So we're going to really focus deep into those layers of grief, of despair, of just like abject loss. It's a very, very heavy feeling. I don't want to go into too many specifics because I know this is going to be different for everyone's life circumstance. So I encourage you, as we take deep breaths and move into this healing space that we create together in the reality of love where we all are one, to bring your fear with you, to bring this grief and just to let it come up and arise. Because remember, we have to bring illusion up to the light of truth. If you want to talk about any kind of judgment, the judgment would be to see with the eyes of love, to see with the eye of the heart, or to see with the vision of the Christ field, however you resonate with source, creator, it doesn't matter what language you use, is to see the truth in all. And the only reality there is love. So it's not necessarily about bringing truth down into illusion, but to be willing to bring up the belief that we hold in fear. So this is any kind of grief or loss that you feel. So this could be for events that happened in this lifetime. It could be a kind of generalized, unidentifiable, deep sadness, or missing out, but you can't really identify why. You can't tie it to a specific circumstance, or, and this is very painful, and this resonates deeply with people, I think, who walk the sort of path of the mystic, that requires a detachment on all levels from association with the physical as being where you will find your identity. I'm not saying that you won't have a life in the physical, but we are called to seek for ourselves within. Everyone is called to do this. Everyone is a mystic. Everyone is a healer. Everyone is one in this field. Everyone is just as equally capable of walking this path. But at a certain point, it does require you to begin to give up the belief that you hold in the way reality works, in the world that you live in as a dream. So you wouldn't look for your reality in a dream. You would look for it where you are in truth. So I think oftentimes when we do these meditations, or when we work to clear ourselves, we try to get into like this brilliant light space. But for this, and really for all, because that's yes, that is the work of the healing of love. That is the work of the truth. We don't have to prepare ourselves to enter this space by trying to clear ourselves of it. We are brought into the space when we bring ourselves as we are. We bring it all with us, and we are willing to see it, to let it go. It's a very strong message of that. So whatever it is that you're bringing to this deep sadness, regrets, despair, again, yes, any kind of maybe anger or resentment that comes along with this, but this feels like a kind of just a being left out, or being let down, or not having the life that you thought that you wanted, that you feel like is meant for you. Letting go of the attachment network to various situations, people, places, things, timelines, dreams, fantasy structures. There's a lot, by the way, of energetic structure that keeps us disconnected from our true reality when we give ourselves too much to fantasy, and I'm not really talking about imagination such that you are envisioning a peaceful, happy reality for yourself. I'm talking about fantasy that is by the way of kind of escaping yourself or escaping what is being called up to be recognized, or it's distracting you from connecting to yourself, connecting to your heart, and connecting to what you're really being called to do here. Very often it's not going to be like a plan that's laid out for you, like A, B, C, D, these are all of the steps, but it is an ease that you allow yourself to just step into in the reality of being in the present moment, yes, of being in the eternal now, the holy instant, however you resonate with being truly present with yourself. And we call in the energies of forgiveness, the current, the power, the very powerful spiritual technology of forgiveness, of humility also, of compassion, letting go of any self-righteousness or defensiveness that we feel, but bringing all hurts to the surface to be seen in the light of love. And that is the only judgment that there would be, right? Without fear of punishment, that is an illusion. Without fear of condemnation or anything like that. Just taking nice deep breaths. Feeling the light of love that is you coming from within you. With each breath that you take, expanding that light outward, understanding this is an open, ever expanding, limitless system. This is God, which is, period, right? It is, you are. This is the ever expanding field of creation. This is you. Bring yourself into awareness of this field from within your heart space, breathing in and out of this field. As we work to recognize whatever's coming up for us is of our own creation. This is not to make you feel guilty or to blame for anything. It's not to say that there are not other beings in the world of circumstance and the sort of divine play that's happening here that we perceive as doing other things to us. In order for us to truly be healed, we have to understand that we created everything that we see, that we all share one life. The life that is within me is the life that is within you, is within every other actor, every other being in this universal, multi-universal plane, and of all that is, of all that we know and we don't know. It is within this immersion into unity that we can see that we are blameless, that we can see that we are and that all others are as God created us now. God only sees you such as that it perceives itself. What does that mean? It perceives you as one with itself, as it is ever creating. There is no punishment here. There is no death. We're very resistant to this idea. We're very resistant to letting go of the belief that there is power outside of us, yes? That there are things that people can do to us that we can't heal from because they did it and it's their responsibility, and I didn't do this and I don't have any responsibility for this. And I'm not victim blaming or victim shaming. That is absolutely not what I'm doing. This is to see in the eye of forgiveness. To see that when you believe that you're capable of attack, you will see all manner of the forms of fear. It's about letting all of it go. Letting go of what you perceive to be weakness in you and simultaneously within all others. This is a mystery to us in the world of dreams. We're not being asked to know it. We're being asked to let go of fear and to be open to the possibility that there is a reality where fear is not a thought. Love has no opposite. We have to be willing to let go. This is what it means to be seeing in unity. Unity is not duality. It's not to see that the shadow is part of you. The shadow, evil, whatever, darkness, is a mistaken identity. You can't believe that that is inherent to your being and be healed. If that was inherent to your being, healing would be impossible. And whatever resistance you feel, whatever fears you feel, whatever grief you feel, whatever anger you feel, despair, disbelief in your ability to have what you desire, the love, to have love, to be love, is what that really boils down to at its deepest essence, is the belief that you could be separate from love forever. This is impossible. You're not being called to do this overnight. You're being called to hear the voice for God, to hear the eternal song, to hear the truth that rings out forever because it is the only song that is being sung. You're just being called to being willing to hear it. You are one with this field. It will call you home when you are willing to turn your attention to the possibility that you could be one with it. It's not that you're being called into like a multi-step, ever looping, closed loop cycle of healing. It's being willing to be open to the possibility that you are already healed. Within the world of dreams, this is the only purpose that the children of light see as a function of time. The only reason that time exists is for us to hear the song and to just gently, gently, gently shift ourselves towards it and to follow the song that is within yourself that is calling you home. Remembering that the only reason that you can hear it, and you can always hear it, is because you never leave home. To see with the eye of the heart, to see with the vision of Christ, is to see all like self, which is to see the truth of love in everything. It is not to see illusion. It is not to indulge in the delusional beliefs of other people around you, of what they believe that they are in fear, of what you believe they are in fear, of what you believe yourself to be in fear, of what you think they think of you in fear. And to hold yourself from forgiveness of yourself for the things that you perceive yourself to have done in fear, or for what other people have done in fear, will keep you in separation from love, from your reality, from your unity with everyone else, and with all life, all living beings. But this is not to say, this is the highest, from what I have experienced, the highest, when you want to say highest, what does that mean? The essence of unity healing, yes. It is the highest calling of healing that we can do. And the beings there, they understand that this is not easy for us. And so it is not like a light, it is and it isn't. And that's hard to explain. Understanding that in the moment that you put yourself in the awareness of it, you are healed. It is like a light switch. When you're putting yourself in the presence of the awareness of your reality, you are that. And so in that moment, you are healed. But while we continue to turn our attention away from it, for which there is no punishment for, there is no consequence except that we aren't aware of our reality, It just, that is what creates our perception of time as linear. You just continuously turn yourself away from it. But you always have the power to turn yourself back. And the more that you turn yourself back, the easier it gets to hear the song. The easier it is to see with the eye of the heart, to not see others in judgment of death or judgment of wrongdoing, evil. We must forgive. We must forgive everyone if we want to be free. And we, most importantly, must forgive ourselves. Because that's where it all starts, the purification. It's where it really starts and ends, with the purification of the self, because that automatically comes with the vision of seeing all others as one with self. Coming back to the breath, knowing you are safe in this now, you are whole in this now, you are perfect peace in this now, you are the reality of love in this now, in all nows. We need not direct the light is the infinite intelligence of the One. We merely must open ourselves to it, recognizing our oneness with it. As we draw to the surface all densities, all illusions, all delusional thoughts, all belief and fear that we hold in its many forms as we perceive them. Mi hin tayun nishni santisnayan nayum patos no shaya. Kiasha nasi hiwayoto soshai sayotun tuani. Mi hianyon to soshin dasaki hutun tunantu kumushunu. Hanin nanu shuan tusun nuan 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 tai. Mi nishni nun tukmashun nsnani. Kamun to son nin doshnin dikiyayun. Nu hiyo kwa nu ashuno santisia doshanatuani. To draw your breath in through your body into your awareness of yourself here and now, opening all channels of light, opening all multidimensional DNA strands and meridian lines, all energetic currents, balancing all electromagnetism, calling forth both geoplasmas, plasmas from the center of the earth, and solar plasmas, soul as the sun, yes. As this is a time of reunion with our soul, it is a time of reunion with our mother, which I see as the magnetism, is the earth coming truly back online as her living self. As we feel into the angelic field that is offering support and healing love for us at this time. The angels of sunlight, the angels of water, the angels of the earth, the angels of wisdom and love, of air, of fire, the holy sacred fire. The energies of this now, in whatever way you perceive them or however you like to interact with them. This will be many different names. People will have many different names, many different methods of connecting to the energies of this time as we see it. That is not relevant. If you are connecting to them, you may already notice during these days, these past few weeks, a deep call for purging all of this fearful belief. You might find yourself revisiting themes that you do not want to see. We offer assistance at this time to detach from these memories, to detach from the emotions. We are indeed rebuilding an emotional body, which is not the second dimensional, I guess you could say, lower emotional body. Just as our root is changing, is ascending, as the earth is changing her structure, and as these sort of crystallized plasmas are growing and resonating louder in the field, that is restructuring our chakra centers. It is unifying in a column, which will be a different experience of emotions. So as much neutrality, as much observer, as much witness as you can anchor in these times for yourself and for all others, to let others, everyone is going through the same process, understanding that everyone perceives. Yes, you are perceiving, you know you have hard days, everyone else is having this experience as well. It is not for us to judge what other people are doing in the judgment that we understand of it as earth beings, earth people in the world of dreams. Being called to see yourself in the light of the truth, understanding that self means all others. Na yunto sana yintayo samushana kina sanitando konianto sikayushi. Because when you are immersed in this unity of love, there could be no grief. The cause for grief is not available, and so the effects of grief could not be felt. The cause of grief is not possible because in unity, separation is impossible. Death is meaningless. It is not in existence. It is not real. It's not a possibility. And so what could be the cause for grief? When all life is yours forever. When you could not be separate from your Creator because you breathe one life with it. You breathe with its breath. You create with its power. Your strength is its strength. You know yourself to be one with all others. This is a dream of madness, but it is a dream here, where we perceive ourselves to be on earth. And so we bring all belief that we have, that we are separate beings, that we are beings capable of being vulnerable, of being attacked, of being lacking, of being at a loss for anything or anyone, that we are unsafe, that we are incomplete, that we are needing anything outside of ourselves, and this is including other people's bodies, to be whole. Hanayoni hani shana montosni shinna suntowi hiyayun no shi ki kian yanun tu as ein no shini ana sumbo hun tu ayu un tu ashi si hanu shana kan dukun tihiri yanu shana tuntu kuanu shanini yan nuntu ayin Yanuntusnan, Yanuntundiki, Yanuntuntianushanandisnandian. This is a transcendence of what we would think of as the fourth dimensional heart space, and this level of sort of archetypal narrative story beingness to a higher heart dimension, sort of eighth. These numbers are very representational and not really how I see it completely, but it is a useful map, a useful diagram, perhaps, for understanding. The purpose is not really for this to be understood by your intelligent, your linear reasoning, the level of the ego mind. Irrelevant if it's understood at that space. But it does, we live in the world where we ask for that, and so we try. But this is a complete, we are being asked to let go of old maps. The game board is changing, yes. The landscape of the energy, of the energetic dimensional matrix is changing. These lower dimensions are dissolving. So our chakra system and the map that we use by the way of how people understand that is going to be very different. So we're being called to, again, detach from these understandings as we think we know it, and be okay with the not knowing in this transitional time, knowing that the level of the heart is not really of a dimension that could be numbered. It is the all-pervading. It is the all-pervading link, portal, doorway into all other spaces of where you have consciousness. You're a unified field. You need no protection. You need no defenses. This spiritual practice of, while it is understood by the children of the light, that why? Because the workings of what I call the oppressor, which is an energetic field, but can be inhabited by humans or many different other kinds of beings, that becomes irrelevant, what kinds of beings you perceive them to be. We're just being called to let go. To let go and to feel yourself in the unified field. Yes, to understand that you need no protection when you are in this unified field, because there is no possibility of attack. Yes, they understand why you feel like you need it, but to also try to understand that the more you feel like you need it, that's really that belief coming up that you're holding, in the belief that you could be hurt, in the belief that you are still hurting, in the belief that you are vulnerable to attack, to death, to like irreparable harm. This is impossible, and they're really trying to call us into that knowing that even though there are still beings that are possessed by this oppressive manipulation, control, and a delusional state, that there could be non-being, or that there could be life and power aside and apart from creation, which is impossible. While there are beings that are still doing that, and they recognize very strongly that lots of people are suffering at the hands of that, perceiving themselves to be suffering at the hands of that at the level at which they see it, it's just a dream. It's just a dream. And you have the power to see yourself outside of the dream. And the way that you assist others in waking up from the dream of death is to allow yourself to be woken by the truth. because then you see yourself in that light, and to see yourself in that light makes you capable of seeing them outside of the dream. It doesn't really serve them to see them as victims, to see yourself as a victim, to see them as suffering, because that's not the light that frees them. That's not the truth. That's not how the technology works. That perpetuate that. This is difficult for us because I think there's a lot of resistance coming up. Oh, this is callous. This is certainly not the intention. But that's the spiritual technology of how it works to heal, is to see the light of the truth. If you have worked in session with me, the focus that is held is of your perfection. It is not to seek out the delusion in you. It is to hold the vision of your perfection, and all delusion melts away in the light of the truth of what you are, because truth and illusion cannot exist in the same place. So when you have a being that is focusing in that time on the perfection of your beingness, and it holds you as one with itself in that space, nothing else could exist, and the time outside of time that we spend, and that you're spending now in the space here, dissolves in unimaginable amounts of this fearful belief, this fearful lower dimensional structure. It doesn't serve people to continue to indulge them in their delusions of fear. It doesn't serve to continue those stories. Nantusini kindashani kanayoma shono sondishini kindasokori kinindi disikini antokina. This might come across as kind of harsh. Think about yourself as a child. I do a lot of work with my inner child because my childhood was pretty scary. And oftentimes when I go in to work with her, she's still, kind of screaming, like, up in the fetal position, sort of surrounded by this very dark kind of swirling, what almost looks like tentacles of darkness, of cancerous, almost tumorous tentacles. You wouldn't tell that child that she's, you wouldn't reinforce that for her. You wouldn't reinforce her delusion of being in that state. And so why would you do that for anyone else? You heal with love. You heal with the light of the truth. Or if a child woke from a dream, you would woke from a nightmare, yes? If you were a loving parent, you would listen to the child. They would tell you all about the dream, but then you would remind them that it's a dream. It's not happening anymore. For you, as that child, or in whatever lifetime the traumatic event took place, it is still happening, or else you wouldn't feel the fear. So when we open this space up, when we dissolve the limits between ourselves and from ourselves from within us, we call all of these it's kind of like if all of the versions of yourself as a child or in different lifetimes, in different dimensional forms, as different beings, whatever, as if, I think I've said this before, but if you took the side off of a very, 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 very large apartment building, and then you could see everybody inside at once, and then you dissolved, and then you took all the walls out, and then they were all here, one, together in the one space, and that you could show them all at once. This must be experienced for self. And I encourage that practice every day. Just quiet meditation where you call in all aspects of self, call all aspects of self home into the light of the truth of where you are home. Because that is your truth. And because it is your truth, and because it is your home, and because it is where you could never be apart from, you will find yourself there. You will succeed. You couldn't fail. You could never fail. And it is difficult, yes. In the world of dreams, this process is difficult. And that was one of the purposes of doing this meditation in the first place. And I'll probably do more and more of the same focus. Because even within spiritual communities, yes, this is as I see it, the wisdom of the ancients, of the Essenes, of the Vedics, of the core of Buddhist teaching. Certainly, I believe of what I heard when Jesus spoke. Certainly not what a lot of, most of, I don't want to speak for others, not what traditional Christianity and Catholicism says that he said, but certainly I believe Jesus was an Essene. This is the core wisdom, yes. But this is not what most healing modalities talk about. And even to be within a spiritual community where what you are bringing forth is not what others are bringing forth. This isn't to say that they're wrong. Everyone reveals themselves in their own time. Everyone gets to choose their own adventure in the world of dreams. It's not about judgment. It's not about what they're doing being wrong and what I'm doing is right. I don't care about being right. I want to be free. I want peace now. And this is the method that I have found that brings me the most peace. Do I feel peaceful at every moment of the day? No. But what do? I try as best as I can to direct myself back into this presence. And then, in that moment, I am free. I'm not really interested in what other people are doing insofar as their journeys, except that I wish them happiness and love and peace and release because I share one life with them. But I understand, because I have experienced, that even within spiritual communities, there is vast difference in methodologies and belief. It's not what matters. But in the experience of walking the path in the world of dreams, that can make you feel very lonely. Na yunta shoni kanina sani na shunin tatikana yunto shiminit. This might also be matiko ayashokoa sini shana kana kuniti andi. You know, that feeling of never having belonged on earth. I certainly have felt that way my whole life. And many days I still have moments of that belief. We do belong here, or else we wouldn't be here. There are no mistakes. You are always in the right place at the right time. And as I've said many times in this meditation, you could never not be home. You are home here. You are at home here because you're at home wherever you go. Fear is the stranger. Yes, moving into the connection of the mental body. It's very important not to listen to the thoughts of fear and believe them as part of your being. It's something you made up while you forgot what you were. That's all. That's all it is. Kiana shoni kana sundo shono sati kana shoko hasikia. Yanta koni shana kinandiki. Hi utoko yoshoko yasini yanti. Hi yin nuntubi ko ayo shoko isikini. Sanan to shotisi. Sia to shoko asikia yato kunu yontua. Inita sana yiti oriki. Ieti koyono shunosi. Inindihitiki. Inintiatianash, inisanahuara, initasani shinindasika, inuntuhini, inuntuantishayotu ayokuayot, uyuntu ayokuntu ayokuyanishonosana, shana sanatasatikayot, untatikanait, iasa tushori patati hasite yatuki, ina tosonowandi, in the sonosiana yando shonoandi anai. Mi sinishon to sayo shomasa yishiana yadundosna. Si ut o aya yotun de hindi shani sanando kuayo topi to shoyo poandasa. Shanin datasayo o ashono sondo shinindisi. And the energy of Guan Yin is really coming forward. The compassion for the grief of the world. The compassion for the suffering of the world, yes. Shini sinin dosni shinin disi kintakonindi. Yan tu ayon tu ayo shumasini tishanati si siatoshiki. Hiti sinindi sanantosh. Remembering that all of us clear collectively. All of us are tapped into the shared field, because it just is the nature of what it is. We are all exposed to the suffering of all others. That's why it's so important to see yourself in the light of the truth, because when you do, then I told you, that light is intelligent force. That light is the living God. That light will move through you into the field, and it will touch all others. They don't need to know that it's you. It's the one doing it. It's your allowance of that truth to move through your vessel in the world of dreams, to illuminate the field for all others, such that they may be free. But we recognize ourselves as a being who has suffered. We see that suffering in others. We know that. We can relate that in symbolism to love. We see ourselves as a being of love, well, then we must see all others as beings of love. And this doesn't mean that we're all called to be healers in traditional ways. I believe that that is going much to the wayside. We're called to be kind. You're called to be kind to yourself and others. The power of kindness cannot be overstated. Smiling at other people, saying hello when you walk down the street, moments of connection, of recognizing the life in other people. Alchemy can be very simple. These are very simple alchemical processes that open this field, and they bring it back to life. You are very capable of this. Miani shani kana sunti sunta, sonano shana kindai hiani kana tupi shonu sindi sikayo. Oni shana ina sani, kiana tokayo shono sunta hirshu, suni shini kintayon tokuaiki, inta kuna shani asiki ayatokayano, inanta koni shini kana sain, inando harai shini sana kinan, Indo kini kinta koki hia yiti shoyo soyati undo san nunto kuana undo iokua o iot ohiok ohiana to shoni sinan to snidit hi ayo kono shana sinan tatato uhua uno shana kana yintis nan tokuari. Very beautiful, love. I think we will seal our session here. as we dedicate it into the light of love and of unity, as we intend for universal freedom of all living beings, of seeing ourselves in the light of the truth of love, and seeing all others in the light of the truth of the love that we share. Blessed be, and so it is. Thank you all for joining me in this healing. Very beautiful. If you feel like you need to stay in meditation with eyes closed, I encourage you to do it as you feel called. If you feel to go outside, to maybe even take a shower or a bath, I encourage you to stay hydrated. Working with the sunlight is very powerful. Working with water is very powerful these days. Connecting to our earthly mother in your consciousness if you can't go outside, and to be in nature if that's not easy for you where you live. You most certainly can connect to her on the level of the heart. There are so many beautiful light beings, and so many ascended beings of our lineages. So many multi-dimensional beings here for us at this time, and more coming into our awareness from within the earth, from within our sort of galactic system, beings of non-form, consciousness of an unimaginable existence. Really understanding, though, that this is the light of that the unity is what connects us. So I thank you all again. You might still feel some heaviness. I encourage you just to let it pass through you. Don't connect to it. Acknowledge its feeling through your body, move it through your body, and let it go. You've not done anything wrong. If you're still feeling that, you've not done it wrong. There's no way to do it wrong. You've not done any of it wrong. You are exactly where you're meant to be. You are learning exactly what you're meant to be learning. The time that it takes is the time that it's taking. That's why we're here. We're here to remember what we are. That's it. The time that it takes is of no consequence. There are no repercussions. Nobody's going to abandon you. You could never be abandoned. There are always beings that are here to walk you down the path, to walk down the path with you, to show you the way from within you. Because all beings, all living beings share the life within you. You could never be abandoned. And so I will really leave it there now. Thank you all so much for joining me. If you're feeling called, there are many ways to work together. You can check out my website, or you can send me an email. You can contact me on the website. You can leave a comment down below. If this work resonates with you, I'm so grateful to you. Thank you for being here. Please feel free to share it with your friends or anyone that you think might benefit from it at this time. Thank you all so much. Sending so much love to you.